Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 in VR. This video is thanks to a long-term channel member of mine, Largent, who specifically asked to see the Alpine A110 in VR. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. As usual, just like with the Honda, I will take you around the showroom so we can have a look at the car in close detail. We'll do a live race in VR and then we'll take a look at the VR replay. So in all honesty, the Alpine A110 is one of those cars that I've just really not used more than a handful of times. In fact, it's been sat at the bottom of my garage list since probably around the release of the game. So I thought going back in VR would kind of give me a new perspective on it. And it honestly did. Not only do the throwback looks of this thing absolutely look amazing, the interior and inside of this car in VR is probably one of the nicest in the game. It really is an absolutely awesome place to be, and it really does feel like you kind of just sat inside of one of these things. So overall, props to Alpine for making such an awesome little interior. So let's go and take it for a race. This car obviously has no upgrades, it's going to be in its standard form, and I took it for a 500 recommended race at Sardinia. This is one of the career mode events, and I thought, you know what, let's go and see how it does up against some of the competition. So it's more of a smaller road-based event, and instantly the car felt very, very good. I was actually rather quite surprised how well it handles, as well as having the quirk that if you want to flick that rear end out in VR, you very much can. You'll probably notice me do it a few times where eventually we kind of get the nice tighter turns to flick the rear end out, get a nice bit of drifting going on, and it just felt absolutely incredible. I think part of the driving experience with this car as well is just how nice the cockpit is to be in. It really does feel very, very premium, and in all honesty, the video won't do it justice just how amazing this car is within VR. It's a very nice little cockpit to sit in. It feels sporty, it feels fast, it feels rather quite low down to the ground, and I mean this car feels very, very compact and tiny as it is, and you kind of get that feeling whilst you're throwing it through the corners. I was up against some of the other cars around here that were kind of obviously like your typical hot hatches, so you've got the Mercedes, the Renaults and such, and this car felt very, very tiny in comparison to them, but you felt like you could really just attack the corners, and that is one thing that I can give props to this car. Its handling model is actually very, very good. Whilst okay, it's not putting out stupid amounts of power, it's very much usable and controlled power. You know, you can definitely get to grips with this car and really enjoy the driving experience without having to just put a ton of upgrades on or really make it any faster. Straight out of the box, this car is just a fantastic car to drive, and it's made all the better when you're throwing it around in VR. And maybe it's just me, but as soon as I'm in VR, it really does get the adrenaline pumping when you're side by side with a car. You're checking your mirrors, you're making sure you've cleared them. It really is a fantastic experience. As you can see there, one thing I did notice is that the lead car is, well, another Alpine A110. It really was quite a cool little battle I had here. The only downside is, even on the hardest difficulty, the AI is just not that good. So whilst it was pretty cool for flicking the cars through the corners side by side and such, there was a little moment coming up in a second where you'll see that the Alpine up in front basically just slams his brakes on for no reason, whilst I'm just carrying on my momentum and go past him. But yeah, as you can see, you'll probably notice my head checking the mirrors and just trying to get that full-blown experience. It really does kind of throw you in the deep end, and it's little sporty cars like this that are fantastic to get that sense of speed across with VR. And not only that, when you're kind of just throwing it through a corner and obviously having to look where you need to go and such, it's just a brilliant thing. So I honestly think this is definitely one of the more forgotten gems of the game. I think a lot of people would have probably just got this car early on in the game and probably never even used it the once, and I honestly do recommend it, especially if you've got VR. Go ahead, give this car a try out and let me know what you think. I honestly think, like I said, this may be one of the nicest little cars that is, well, within the game. It's just so detailed and so nice to be in. As you can see, we did finish the race, so let's go ahead and check out the VR replay. One thing I did notice, there was some really cool angles on this track. and on this specific layout or Sardinia, whether you're kind of behind the pit wall here or kind of, you know, on the apex of one of the corners and the cars basically fly through you. It's absolutely incredible, and it really does kind of give you this spectator feel, you know, whilst, okay, you're not behind a barrier like you would be in real life or anything like that. It really does give you the feeling like you're actually watching these cars go around, and it's almost like, oh, okay, I actually went and did that. It just gives you this whole unique perspective on the race that you've just done, that you almost feel like it isn't you that's just gone and done that race. I don't know if it's just me, maybe you other VR users can let me know exactly what you think, but I honestly think this may be one of kind of the most unique features that I've actually seen implemented within VR, and it's not really talked about. It's such a cool little feature. If you do have VR, always check back on your replays, and it will just give you a new appreciation, not only for the on-track action, but some of the views. Like, you know, you're at some of the most stunning places in the entire world, throwing some of the most luxurious cars around on track, and you can almost feel like you're right there in the action. And it is definitely a very much underutilized feature, and just seeing this Alpine kind of go sideways, or, you know, throw itself through the corners, or see it go side by side down the straights with some of the other cars, was just absolutely a fantastic experience. So with this being my second VR car showcase, we've already done the Honda RA272, which was one of my personal favourites, and then obviously being requested to do the Alpine A110. I'm going to put it out there now that if you do want to see specific cars in VR, please comment them down below. This way I can get an idea of what you guys want to see in terms of, you know, maybe specific cars in VR, or maybe you even want to see the cars that don't actually have a cockpit view, which is probably one of the more weird kind of ways of driving in VR. It feels so unnatural and just rather quite strange, so maybe you guys want to see that. But yeah, I will take specific car requests if you do want to see them. So we're on to the second lap here, and this is where we finally caught up the other Alpine, and as you're going to see, it's just going to be a little quick battle of two little pocket rockets. It just looks absolutely awesome. There's that amazing little viewing angle. For some reason I really love those shots where it kind of just, you know, sticks you on the apex and throws a car at your view. It really does kind of like, whoa, at first you almost feel like you're actually just going to get run down at the side of a track. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and as you can see, the sense of speed in this VR replay is just incredible. One thing that I really did notice is, even though these cars may not be the quickest cars in the game, when they're flying past you at over 100 miles an hour, you can really feel it. And watching these cars kind of get flicked around is just absolutely amazing. So yes, the VR replay is definitely a mode you should look into. And overall, this Alpine is a fantastic car to drive within that VR replay mode. So if there's any other specific cars you want to see ran in a PSVR2, then leave your comments in the comments section below. This way, the top rated one will be the next car that I then go to, and so on and so forth. Thank you to Largent for suggesting the Alpine. It's really gave me a completely different appreciation for this car that I pretty much forgot from the beginning of the game. But yes, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. I upload GT7 and motorsport content each and every day for your viewing pleasure. If you have those suggestions, don't forget to leave them down below. Big shout out to my sponsors, the Controller People and Poggers, for, well, supporting the channel obviously, and a big shout out to my channel members and daily viewers who, you know, keep me motivated and keep me going. My Discord, my Twitter and all that good stuff will be in the description down below. I will see you all later. Have a fantastic day. Peace.